Dear students, welcome back. This should be the last video of IUS streams. In this video we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is about serialization. Now serialization is nothing, just a process of preserving the state of an object. This is usually required in practical life. You see that you have an object in your program and you want to save its current state. When you save its current state, then you can apply a lot of changes in the object. But if you want to get back the object which you saved in the current state, you can kind of read it back from the file. So serialization is a kind of process in which you will be writing an object to a file so that its state can be preserved. For example, you have an object of account balance. Now account balance of today you would like to preserve in a file, and then you can apply a lot of changes in the account balance. But if after 10 days you want to read what was the balance on June 10, then you can read it back from the file. You can kind of read the state of the object on the June 10. So preserving the state of the object is quite handy in a lot of practical applications. That is the reason why Java provides you this facility to store state of an object and then refer it back after some time. Right, in simple words, serialization is a process of writing an object to a file. Right, there are actually 5 classes and interfaces which are important to be understood if you want to understand the process of serialization. The first interface is serializable. Remember that all Java objects cannot be serialized. It means that all the objects cannot be written to the file. Only objects which are implementing serializable interface can be implemented. Right, now interestingly, serializable interface does not have any method. So if you have got your own class and if it implements serializable, it does not need to implement any object at all. It does not need to overwrite any method because serializable interface is totally empty. Now the point is, if your serializable interface is empty, then why do we need to implement it? The answer is, well, if you are coding your class and if you intend that, if you allow that your class object should be serialized, should be saved into file, then you will implement serializable. But if you say no, I'm not going to allow somebody to preserve a state of my object, then you should not implement serializable. So if you as a programmer, if you want that your class object should be stored in the file and you do not see any harm in it, then you will implement serializable with your class. And when you are implementing serializable, you really do not need to override any method because serializable does not define any method at all. And remember, when you are having a class implementing serializable, we say that the object of that class can be serialized. But remember, those variables which are transient or static, they will not be serialized. That's an important point. So if you say that some of the variable, for example private key, you say that this private key must not be written to the file, then that transient variable won't be written to the file. And also the static memory variable, you know what are the static memory variable, right? So after serializable, as I told you, there are just 5 interfaces and classes. I mean 3 interfaces, 2 classes, which you need to understand for understanding serialization process. Serializable is clear. The second is object output. Now this is an interface which is implemented by object output stream because you want to serialize objects, so you will be using object output stream. And object output stream is a stream which is implementing object output interface. And in this interface we have got these 5 methods: close, flush, write, write a buffer with offset, write an integer, and then this method is important, write object, because when you are performing serialization, this is the most important function. This is the most important method which actually writes an object to a file, right? and then you have got this object output stream which implements object output interface, and this has got all these methods in this class, write character, write characters, write double, write float. I mean, these all are the methods, so that if you want to write primitive, you should be having this facility as well. And then obviously write object is always there. And see, I mean, write object is going to accept object. You know, object is the base class for all classes. It means that you can pass any object. You can pass your defined objects, or you can pass predefined objects, because you know that in Java world this object class is base class for all the classes, regardless if it is defined by programmer or if it is defined by Java, if it is already available in API, right? So because the argument list includes class object, it means that we can pass object of any class, right? Similarly, we have got object input interface. It has got all these available clause: read buffer with offset, and then read object is the important method which is going to read object from the file, right? And then you can also skip on number of bytes, which we have already discussed in previous streams. Object input stream that implements object input interface, and it has got all these methods available for reading primitive data as well as reading object. You can see here, this is the read object method that will help us to read object from a file, right? Okay, I understand you won't be able to grab the idea without looking at some example. So let us write an example which serializes some objects, right? So I'm going to create a new Java class, right? I say serialization demo, right? Now in this serialization demo, I will have main method, but before that, I'm going to write a class. I call it account balance, and I say implement serializable, right? Okay, implements serializable. Fix import. So serialize, you can see serializable is an interface in java.io, right? Okay, you know that because I'm implementing serializable, it means that I'm allowing people to preserve a state of account balance, which means that as a programmer, I do not have any objection that if somebody is going to preserve a state of object of this account balance class, right? And remember, in serializable, we really do not have any method, so we do not need to override any predefined method. We just want to indicate people that yes, you can serialize this object, right? Okay, now in this account balance, I have got a string account title, account title, which is initially null, right? Then I can have not a string but maybe double, right? Balance, which is initially 0, and then I can have account balance. This is a constructor which accepts title and which also accepts double for balance, and then this dot account title equal to title, right? string, right? And then I also have this dot balance equal to balance, right? And then what I'm going to do, I have a string to string, right? This is a toString method, and that returns nothing, but it returns account title equal to plus account title, and then plus I say account balance equal to plus balance, right? So this is doing nothing, it is just returning a string of this type. toString in a kernel cannot resolve toString in object to weaker. Okay, you know the problem, I am overriding toString from the object class, and in object class this is public, so I need to make it public, right? So whenever you call this method, you will get current value of account title and current value of account balance, right? So I will be using object of this class to serialize and to deserialize. Okay, great. Now here I have got public static void main string arg, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have got try, and then I have got catch IU exception e. I will also be playing with file, so I also need to file not found exception, right? You know that you can alternatively use try with the resource, but I'm using deliberately this because I want that you should know all these methods. Okay, what's the problem? IU exception, exception IU is never thrown. Okay, I will throw, don't worry. Okay, so here I say file input stream n equal to new file, or rather file output stream, file output stream, file output stream equal to new file output stream, and I say I will be writing state of a file, state of an object, maybe here, here, the file name, say for example I say my file. So in this file I will be writing state of the object, right? So this is a file output stream, fix import of, not format, but fix control shift I. Okay, I'll do that. Now once if this is done, the next thing that I'm going to do, I say now create object output stream, object output stream equal to new object output stream, and I'm going to create this stream on FOS, right, on file output stream. Okay, then once if this is created, now I say account balance equal to account balance equal to new account balance, and I pass it share, and I say maybe 1000. Initially I have got 1000, right? Now inside this I also have a method, say for example public void set balance double balance. So I say this dot balance equal to balance, right? So I come back here, what I have done, initially I had account balance is equal to 1000, right? If I simply display it, system.out.println, and if I print AB, you know that it will display account balance. File not found exception. Okay, if it is not thrown, I don't care, I'm going to remove it, right? Now I've done nothing. I've just created this file output stream to the file and object output stream to the file output stream, and for the time being I have created object of account balance and displaying it. When you display it, you know toString method will be called. This is the toString method which is going to display account title is equal to share and account balance is equal to 1000, right? So let's check it. Run. You can see account title equal to share, account balance is equal to 1000. Okay, now what I do at this stage, I'm going to preserve this AB. How to preserve AB? I say object output stream dot write object, and I write AB, right? Okay, now I can update balance. I say AB dot set balance, and I say balance is 50,000, right? Okay, now if I display AB. Now when I display AB, you know that name will be same share and account balance will be 50,000. And remember, before updating we actually stored state of AB. I will later deserialize. This is serializing, and then I will deserialize, which is to read back the state of object from the file, right? So here this process where I'm writing object to a file, this is actually serialization, right? I'm doing serialization. Now remember, this change which I'm bringing to the balance, yes, it is happening in the account balance, but it is not happening in the file. It means that the state of AB which I stored in the file will remain same, which I can later deserialize. I can later recover from the file, right? Now here when I'm displaying AB, you know that I have updated balance, so here the balance will be updated. I run the file, yes, so you can see here account balance equal to share, account balance equal to 50,000, right? Now this is after updating. Now see what I'm doing. I'm going to deserialize. So I say my AB equal to, we need to perform casting, because when you deserialize, the type of the object will be object with O capital. So you need to downcast it to the actual class. In this case it is account balance. You have already seen when we are doing polymorphism how to perform casting between objects. So here I am going to change object into account balance, right? Or maybe let us see first error, then I'll do the casting, so that you can get the idea, right? So object output stream, I cannot do that because I need read. For reading I need to open object input stream, object input stream equal to new object input stream, right? I need to create it a new file input stream, and the file is this one. The file is where we have the stored current state of the object, right? So I paste it here. I say my file input stream, then cannot find file. Okay, you can fix import. Okay, right? So imports have been fixed. Now this says illegal start of, okay, don't worry, right? So I now have object input stream which is created on file input stream, which is in turn opened on my file where we stored state of the object. By the way, if you see, my file is created here, right? Okay, now I say object input stream dot read object, right? Object output stream dot read object. What this will do, this will read an object and store in AB, but then see the error, incompatible type. Object cannot be converted to account balance because object is the base class and you are trying to store a base class into derived class, because this AB is account balance object, and account balance is subclass of object, because everything in Java is subclass of object with O capital, right? Okay, which means that I need to perform casting. So for performing casting, you know that how to convert object of one type to other. So we say this will return object of object type. We are going to just store it here. We are going to convert and then store into AB. Read object, what does it say? Unreported exception, class not found exception, right? So they say you need to catch an exception which is class not found exception. Okay, I can do that. I say catch class not found exception, then this. Maybe as a good practice I need to display the stream, right? I say display this, display the exception, right? Same thing I'm doing here. Okay, once if it is deserialized, now system.out.println I display AB. right? So this is the process of deserialization. Right, now you know that AB will have the same state, which is actually the previous value, share and 1000. Let's check it, run it. You can see here I had this initial value serialized, updated balance is 50,000 displayed, so updated value, and then after deserialization you can see previous state has been recovered, right? So if you want to save state of any Java object, you should use serialization, and serialization means object input stream and object output stream. Object output stream for the serializing object, which is writing object state, and object input stream means deserialization, which means to read back object from the file. That's it. I hope you are clear with the concept of serialization. If you have any question, you will post on the forum, and forum is already available on LMS. Thank you very much. By the way, one final word, please read book, and you will have a quiz on Saturday from Java input output. You still have got 2 more days, and before that we will have Zoom session on Friday 5 p.m. For answering your queries related to Java input output. Thank you very much.